All right, good evening, everyone, and welcome to today's Safeoclock Health and Safety Interactive Workshop. So I'm happy to welcome all of us on today's episode of Safeoclock Health and Safety Interactive Workshop. Like our culture has been, we'll start with a presentation, and after the presentation, then we go into contributions, discussions, sharing our experiences. So I'll start up with the presentation. This presentation would take us like 5 to 8 minutes. So after that, then I will give room for everyone to share his ideas and his experiences on this. So today's topic is management safety walkthrough in the workplace. So we'll be looking at the importance. We'll look at the how it is done, and I think during the experience sharing, we'll be able to talk about some of the things we do differently that makes it unique in our own workplace. So I'll be starting with the definition or how we will explain management safety walkthrough, and I'll look at some of the actions we need to take to prepare for safety management walkthrough, and I will look at also how to promote safety management walkthrough. Okay, so management safety walkthrough are inspections conducted by management personnel to observe the effectiveness of health and safety procedures and protocols in the workplace. Majorly, these walkthroughs aim at identifying hazards, and in the process of the walkthrough, the management personnel engage the employees, ask them questions about their health and safety, reinforce good practices, demonstrate commitment to safe working environment. Like we know, management safety walkthrough is a proactive approach in the sense that it is done before an incident occurs and with the aim of trying to find out any unsafe practice, unsafe condition, or unsafe acts that could lead to incidents. So it's a proactive approach of identifying hazards and putting in place mitigation measures to prevent any incident. Management walkthroughs are conducted regularly depending on the policy of the workplace or the policy of the employer. It could be monthly, sometimes it could be weekly, sometimes it could be bi-weekly. So depends on the policy of that workplace, and is an opportunity to observe the work practice. In most situations, the management personnel are seated in the office, making policies, attending meetings. They might not have enough time to observe how the work itself is being conducted or how the work itself is being done. So management safety walkthrough is an opportunity, also an avenue for the management to observe the work practices, observe if the employees are following safe procedures, and observe if those procedures that has been signed, prepared, if they are safe as well, or if there are some improvements that is required. So that is what is management walkthrough. And when management walkthrough is effectively implemented, it promotes a safe and healthy workplace in the sense that everybody will be seated up. Since the management is totally involved, then everybody will be effective, everybody will be committed to that safe work practice. Okay, so what are the benefits if effective management walkthrough is conducted or is conducted regularly? What are the benefits? There are certain benefits to the employer and to the employee as well. For the employees, it brings about direct contribution to safe work environment. in the sense that the management will observe the unsafe conditions, give immediate instructions for the control measures to be implemented. It also increases the morale of the workers, of the employees, because it demonstrates management commitment. It shows that the management is committed to ensuring a safe workplace. So it increases the morale of the workers. It's an avenue for empowerment as well, because it encourages involvement of the employees in the work environment, in the sense that during the management walkthrough, there will be discussions, there will be interactions between the management and the workers on the site. For the employer, there is a drastic reduction of accident and injuries, because those unsafe conditions, unsafe practices that could lead to incidents are observed ahead, are observed on time as a proactive measure. So it will reduce incidents and injuries. It will lower costs, of course, because if there is a reduction in incident and accidents, so those costs associated with incidents like medical bills, insurance claims, so all those costs will be reduced because there is a proactive measures that has been in place to ensure that incidents are reduced. It enhances compliance. So while the management is attending to the workplace, they will observe if certain regulations are being complied with or not. And there will be improvement to ensure that they comply with regulations and to prevent penalties or maybe fines coming from the regulatory authorities. It improves productivity. A safer environment, a safer work environment leads to improvement in productivity. The workers will be focused, the workers will be effective, they will be efficient, they will give in their best because the workplace is safe and the management is committed to the safe work environment. So it builds a stronger safety culture because there is commitment from the management. The workers' morale are improved. So the safety culture will be improved in that work environment. So how do we conduct management safety walkthrough? The first approach is to ensure that you familiarize yourself with the workplace. Because like I said in the beginning, most top management or the senior management are not familiar with the workplace. So safety management walkthrough is an avenue for them to get used to the work environment. So before coming to the safety walkthrough, it's a good practice for the management to get familiar with that work environment. They can look at the drawing, they can look at the plans, they can look at the evacuation plan from the office if you are coming to the site for the first time. Get familiar with the workplace, identify the locations that are having high risk or high level of hazards. So identify the locations, identify where you want to go into before you start going into the workplace. The next thing that should be done is develop a proper checklist. This checklist will be a guide to help you identify the locations you want to visit, the items you want to be looking at, the major factors that you want to be considering. So it will be like a total guide for the management to prevent oversight and to ensure that everything that needs to be pointed out are looked into. So developing a checklist is a good practice for ensuring that management walkthrough is conducted effectively. Another good approach is to involve employees. Seek the input of the employees. Those people that are working in the site, they know most of the activities, they know most of the equipments. So while in the site, while in the workplace, seek the input of the employees, consult the employees, speak to them, interact with them so that they will help you to understand certain things that you might be missing or that you are not familiar with. Another thing is to schedule effectively. The time for the management walkthrough should be scheduled in so that it will be convenient for everyone. We'll see that in some situations, we'll see that management walkthroughs are scheduled during break time when the workers are already on break. It doesn't totally make a good sense because you need to interact with the workers, you need to interact with the team on site, and you need to know exactly how busy the site is. So if you schedule the management walkthrough during break time when everybody is already in the mess hall taking rest, you won't get the true picture of the site, of how busy or how congested the place is, or how the employees feel while they are working. So scheduling the management walkthrough at a time that you'll be able to meet all the employees, maybe at the time when the job is at the most critical part. It will help you to get an effective output from that management walkthrough. Another thing is to gather necessary equipment. So whatever you might need while in the process of that walkthrough, you should put everything together, like the checklist, pen, cameras, anything. Maybe some equipment. Maybe you want to get to know some noise level of a particular place you are going to. So you have to come with all the necessary equipment that you require to conduct effective management walkthrough. Another thing that needs to be done adequately is to communicate the purpose of this safety management walkthrough, because some of the workers might think that it's an avenue to catch them or an opportunity to identify their faults or their lapses. So the management should communicate the purpose so that everyone understands that the management safety walkthrough is not an opportunity to catch the workers or identify their fault or identify how they are working, but an opportunity to identify some hazards or maybe some unsafe conditions that need management attention. So communicating the purpose will help to reassure the workers that the purpose of that management safety walkthrough is to improve the safety of that work environment and not to find their fault. So the procedure, how do we go about conducting management walkthrough? The first thing is to lead by example. The management coming into the work environment should ensure that they lead by example. All the necessary and required PPE, personal protective equipment that they should wear, they should not skip any of them because they are management or because they are the policy makers. Then they skip all the necessary PPE. They should lead by example and use that as an opportunity to demonstrate commitment, show the workers that this is how it's supposed to be done. Then observe and document. Don't just look around and you walk out. While walking out, you might forget what you have seen. So you should take proper documentation. If you need to take pictures, take pictures. If you need to write things down, write things down. Ensure that your observations, what you have seen in the workplace is properly documented. Then engage in an open communication. Ensure that you're engaging the workers, the supervisors, the engineers, the site team, because this open communication will help them to speak out their concerns. Whatever is their concern in that work environment, in the workplace, they'll be able to say to the management. So that is an opportunity for the management to understand totally what is going on. So there should be proper open communication. Then look for unsafe conditions, unsafe acts, look for improper equipment. So those are part of the hazards that the management should be looking out for. Then the management should also observe the practices, the work practice, and identify the hazards or incorrect work practice that is ongoing in that work environment. So after the management walkthrough, the next thing that needs to be done is follow-up. There should be proper follow-up to ensure that what the management have done during the walkthrough is not just wasting time, that all the observations, all the instruction given for proper closeout is well taken care of. So first, what should be done is it should be properly documented. There should be a proper report that will be documented, stating everything that happened. All the findings should be properly reported and documented. Then there should be prioritization of issues. Issues that require immediate attention should be properly highlighted, and action plans should be developed. Developing action plans stating who and who should be carrying out a particular activity or a particular action, or who should be closing a particular observation, giving timeline for that observation to be closed. This will all be contained inside the action plan. Now, communicate the action plan to the team, the line managers, the supervisors, the engineers, those who are responsible for implementing these recommendations. Then progress should be monitored. There should be regular review of what has been implemented, the impediment, what is preventing any of them to be implemented. So there should be monitoring of the progress. And if possible, there should be a follow-up walkthrough. Follow-up walkthrough comes maybe after a particular time when the walkthrough has been conducted, that the management need to come back again to verify if the recommendations has been implemented, if the action plan that was developed has been properly implemented in the workplace. So this is a follow-up walkthrough. Continuous improvement. The management walkthrough should not just be a one-time affair or something that is done just once in a year. It should be a regular occurrence that everybody understands that management is totally committed to a safe work environment. Okay, so this is the end of my presentation. And as our culture has been, after the presentation, I will hand over to the participants to contribute on this topic. Thank you very much. Okay, so the floor is open. We can take our contributions. Yeah, David, go ahead.
Yes, good evening all.
Good evening.
The topic is a very interesting topic. It reminds me of my days in the previous company I worked before in Qatar. We conduct these walkthroughs once in a week. It's called the managerial walkthrough, which involves the safety manager, the project manager, the lead safeties, the site engineers, and the general foreman. So this topic, we select a particular location, a particular zone, and we visit that area, highlight the issues that requires rectifications, and then it's been documented, and there's also a time frame for rectification of those things. Just like you also said, there are some which are considered top priority. There are some which are also given a time frame for rectification. So it's also a good practice which helps to increase the morale of the employees and shows a good commitment to health and safety. So these kind of things are effective in organizations where the top management is fully committed to health and safety. In cases where they are not committed, they give reasons where, when it's time for the walkthrough, when you schedule a walkthrough, they come up with some excuses of an appointment or an engagement that will not give them the room to attend this managerial walkthrough. But so far, so good. It's a very good approach that helps to highlight issues which On a normal day, they will consider it as normal, or they will consider it to be carried out later when there is time. But during managerial walkthroughs like this, which are documented, these kind of issues are being analyzed by everyone involved in the walkthrough. And also the rectification procedure, the time frame are also being concluded at that point. So what we do is, after this managerial walkthrough, we now assemble at one point in the site and we discuss the findings and also the solutions. And then it will be documented and also emphasized on the meetings, which is also carried out every week. So it's a very good approach to safety, and it shows a very good leadership commitment from the top staff of the company. That's my own contribution. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, David. Thank you for that wonderful contribution. So the floor is open for others. Let's take our turn.
Recording in progress. Here. Thank you very much.
Yes, go ahead, Mr. Sunday.
Okay, thank you, everyone. I want to thank you especially for our hosts. Appreciate all you are doing. Now, there is something about this, actually, from currently where the project where I'm working, they're all the same. Managerial walkthrough, HSC walkabout, they're all the same. But now, the way we do it here in our project, we make construction teams, project team, and I mean from the construction team, to be the leader of this walkabout. You know, the reason behind it is because over time we discovered that construction team are leaving responsibilities for the HSC, making it look like HSC are the one constituting, like the ones constituting those nuisance on site. I mean, they are the one creating those hazards on site. So now there was a management decision that construction team should be the one leading the HSC walkabout or management walkabout, because they are the one directly involved in these issues on site in terms of construction and getting progress. So why they are trying to, in a way, to make them leaders of HSC in this certain action for HSC walkabout. So they do the introduction, which is the presentation, before we start heading to the site. And after the walkabout is done, they tell us their findings. We are just accompanying them, making them look like leaders of HSC, because definitely they are the one who when they get these observations, they are involved in closing down those observations. So that we want to actually, what the essence of that is to make them be responsible. You understand? It shouldn't be in a situation of HSC. When they say it's an HSC walkabout, everybody puts their mind that, HSC, of course, this is, they feel reluctant. This is not a construction walkabout. This is HSC walkabout. No, I would call it HSC walkabout, but we have to change the meaning for them that it's actually led by construction. The reason is to get their commitment in that walkabout, to see what now they begin to act as ambassadors of HSC during that walkabout. And when we come back for the briefing before everybody goes to their location, we agree that they are the one to champion the closeout of those findings, recommendations, and all that. So that actually gives them sense of responsibility to ensure that site is in order. That's just the way we do it here. I'm just sharing my knowledge, so that's because they are always involved. So thank you so much for this topic. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Sunday. That is a very good approach to catch them, because most times they try to shy away from it. So that approach is very, very outstanding. Thank you very much for that wonderful contribution. So let's take other contributions. Can we take contribution from others? David, Kenneth is there. Omojide, I don't know if you are still on the way. Same, Sarat, you are still, if you're already at home, you can share your contribution.
Okay, Mr. Johnson. So, in our yard here in Saudi Arabia, we have also weekly walkthrough, and that is totally depend upon management because this is management walkthrough. So, what is our process here? What we are doing? I will just share to everyone. So, weekly we send invitation to the management for the walkthrough. Okay, and then every Sunday, 7 o'clock, we are conducting this walkthrough. So every Sunday, 7 o'clock, all the managements are together, and then we start our pre-walkthrough meeting. And during this meeting, we discuss about that who is the leader of this walkthrough, and we are choosing one of LSR checklist to conduct during this walkthrough by the leader. Who is the leader? He will conduct one LSR checklist. Then we decided the area that where we are going to conduct the walkthrough. Then we move to the location for the walk around. After that, the management they are highlighting some observations, and they are intervene the workers. They ask some question along with the LSR checklist, and they ensure that whatever the mention in the checklist and what is the checklist we are using, because as we know that we have 9 LSR. So one of the LSR we are choosing in each walkthrough. And according to this LSR, they are intervene or they are interview the worker, supervisor, even foreman, that they are aware about LSR or not, and they are aware about the work which they are doing, what is the safety measure they have to take while performing this activity. And after that, we have one more checklist that is called scoring, walkabout score checklist. After the finish walkthrough, we gather again and we fill this checklist. Not we, I mean to say management, and they fill this checklist that there is a specific points like a housekeeping, tools and equipment, work at height, lotto, chemical, environmental. Uh, all these points are there, so they are choosing that how many points they will give to housekeeping, how many points they will give to PPE, how many points they will give to tools and equipments. So like that, we fill this checklist. After that, we have a post walkthrough meeting, and the meeting will be end. After that, what we are doing, we are asking with the supervisor to send us the closeout to prepare the report of the management walk around, and then we highlight all the observation in the management walk around report and share with the concerned person to give us the closeout for those observation. So this is the way which we are conducting this walkthrough, and our top management like GM, operation manager, they are fully involved in this walkthrough. So they are giving their commitment to the worker, and they ensure that what is the health and safety policy are implemented at site or not. So this is the way we are conducting our walkthrough. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Samuel. That is very interesting. One of the interesting parts I heard from you is the scoring aspect. So that is very, very interesting. And I think it will make it very easy to understand the situation of the work environment. For instance, if all the scores has been calculated and you have a total of 50, maybe the benchmark is 60 or 70, then it will show that the work environment is not at a good rate. So it's a very good practice and a very good one for others to emulate. And that is why we are here. Whatever good practice we can pick from any of the experiences we share from here. If you implement it in your workplace, then it will make it better. Thank you very much, Sammy, for that experience you shared. All right, we can take some more. Still have a few more time to go.
Good evening, all.
Good evening, Sir Kenneth.
Okay. Actually, when I saw the topic this evening, I took interest in joining today because I have not been following up for some time now due to a time frame and other things. But when I saw the topic today, I decided to make a time for it. Actually, this particular topic is very much interesting to me because we are about to kick off this. We are about to start this management walkthrough by coming Saturday. So I actually needed to get more information and more of it. So that is why I'm much interested, and I'm really enjoying the contributions so far from my fellow colleagues here. So thank you so much once again.
Thank you very much, Mr. Kenneth. I'm glad that the topic today is going to help you to shine more on Saturday, because
exactly.
I know you're already good in your job. It's just to add some eyes to the cake. So
yes,
that is why I commend other colleagues also that have shared their wonderful experience. Please, guys, you see that there are some people here that are eager and waiting to learn from your experience. Please, we ask you to please share your experience. Mr. David Indonesia, if you're at home, we would like to hear from you. Who again? Mr. Pastor, I don't know if you're at home. We'd like to hear from you also. Who again? Francis, I don't think you are home yet, but if you are home, we would like to hear from you as well.
Hello, sir.
Yeah, Omojain.
Hello, sir. How's everything, sir?
Fine, bro. You're welcome.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Thank you very much. Yeah, I do appreciate your thorough explanation of everything, the whole topic, and I do appreciate the contribution of every person that has spoken. At least I've learned one or two things from them. I just wanted to say some few things that I believe will be of benefit to us. A company that has no a good safe health and safety management in place, a safety walkthrough would just be a formality. Now, a company that has no consciousness of the fact that the workers, they ought to work safe, and maybe they may have it at heart that yes, they want their workers to work safe just on the books alone, but implementation is zero. A safety walkthrough would just be returning back to square one. So its safety walkthrough will be of great importance, or will be more effective if management of organizations are really concerned in sincerity, they are concerned with health and safety of their workforce. Mostly in the region of the world that we are in, Nigeria, if a contractor says he wants to do a walkthrough, if at all he will do a walkthrough, you know what I'm talking about. His own interest will be how workers can work, and at the end of the day, he will get his get the work done at the shortest possible time, and not even interested in how these workers can work safe. So all that matters is what is management, or what approach has the management of the organization got to do with, or what approach do they have in terms of safety of their workforce. So a good organization, an organization which has this mindset of my workers should go home or safe and healthy and sound, it should have a consciousness that at least when I do a walkthrough, I will get things put in check. Everything that every report or every inspection that has been done, it will really go and implement and take action, take necessary action on how every non-conformity has to be put in place. So, but when you talk about organizations that don't have regard for health and safety, it will just be a zero affair. It should be a counterproductive affair. So that's the contribution I've got to this on this whole matter. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, Mr. Majode. What you said is the sincerity in it. Like, especially in subcontractors, most subcontractors conduct management walkthrough as to please their clients and to meet up some of the client requirements or maybe legal requirements. And at the end, some of the observations they made, there's no action. They come the next week on management walkthrough, they still observe the same thing. After 2 weeks, they still observe the same thing. So they just, it looks like they are just joking, or they are just using it as to pass time. So like you said, any management that is not committed to health and safety of the employees, the management walkthrough they conduct will just be a waste of time, because if there is no actions after observing anything, no control measures, nothing implemented, it will be a total waste of time. But the main aim is for the management to see for themselves how the activities are being done, observe the work practice, identify some of the hazards associated with those work practice, even in the workplace in general, especially in the welfare, because welfare looks like management are more concerned about the work practice or the work itself going on, how much productivity is produced in a day, and the welfare are ignored. So management walkthrough is also an avenue for the management to go into the mess hall, the toilets, the drinking water stations, look at those things and find out if everything is hygienic, everything is okay, if the toilet facility is sufficient for the number of employees they have. So, and be able to put in actions to mitigate those issues that they observed. So that is the main reason for this management walkthrough. And if those observations are not closed out, then it becomes a waste of time, just like as Omojede said. Thank you very much.
Okay. Good evening, everybody.
Good evening, Mr. Francis.
Okay. Yes, I'm just arriving. So let me just shift in a very few points, just as Omojede said. Actually, Omojede is not a reference to be made to only Nigeria. So if you work in the Middle East or other part of the world, you will now understand the fact that safety one is not an easy job, especially when you are ready to work. And on the other hand, if you are proactive, trying to get your job done in a professional way, one, you are going to have a lot of enemy from top management, because when you are going into details, you become an enemy because your detail will hinder some of their showstopper, and it will create costs as well. So what is management actually work through? The management work through as per safety is an avenue for management to leadership visibility, to show to workforce that they care about their their safety concern. One, it gives a confidence to the workforce that even if they observe some observation between themselves alone and they share it with management, that is if when the management are being sincere to themselves, they are not just using the walkthrough as an avenue to just call their KPI, their deliverable target, let them have figures in place. You know, there are some management will tell you we have achieved the figures, even when the physical achievement is not on ground. Now they can show the figures alone, the statistics figures to their top management, that you can see that we are doing very well. But when you come on site, then you will now see how mess they are. They use the walkthrough as a diverse process to monitor their production, not going there to share with the workforce what is their major challenge, for them to also observe with a new eyes what is actually the hazards that these workforce are playing with. So it's not only Nigeria, brother. It happens even here in the Middle East, in so many companies as well. So the safety walkthrough was supposed to be a tool where management visibility will be on site, having new eyes, checking how workers are doing, and the risk involved in their job. Some might know, or issue that has been raised before that management has not been able to give proper attention. And during the walkthrough, where managers and different sessional GM will be involved, they will now reevaluate it and say, no, this is a major one that we need to raise fund to put a proper control measures in place, because there are cases that require heavy fund to implement some of the observations, you know. But in where we find ourselves, some of these things are not being played out in that way. So what do? We just trying to make it become a routine, a duty to, okay, every week we are having management walk through. Then we the safety that I also even be part of it, who are making the observation, we are the one again who are also going again to close it out through any other means, just to ensure we have a closeout process in place, which is not supposed to be so. So the walkthrough is supposed to be a fresh confidence pair of eyes to evaluate work system, so that workers will have a guarantee that management are available to also share their concerns, to address issues where PPEs are not available, where fake materials are being supplied. These are some of the avenues you can raise some of these concerns to management, while they will go back and see how they can make a evaluation to give support to workforce, but not on the other way around. It becomes a shamble where they make it a production affair. They just go and they'll be checking their job, looking at what target they have achieved and how they're going to achieve more targets. So this is the challenge we face in most of the organization, not only in Nigeria, just as I continue to hit on that. It happens everywhere. So in walkthrough, honestly, brother, it's difficult to say how it's supposed to be, but we all are safety professionals. We know what we are facing individually in our companies. Even where some professionals, we just because, yes, we have to stay and earn money, then what do? You also need to sacrifice your professional way to say, okay, whatever the management says, what you will not be also be accepting. Because if you give a better suggestion, they will begin to hate you. So these are my own contribution, but the walkthrough should be an affair properly, where we evaluate, spot out hazard, take suggestion for workforce having the assurance that management is behind them when they have major safety concern to resolve.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Francis. You have spoken directly from the mind, and that is not just like where you are coming from. It seems like it's almost everywhere. But as health and safety professionals, it's on us to ensure that we keep educating, keep intervening whenever possible. we bring up the topic whenever possible, especially those in the managerial level and those in supervisory level. Maybe during your trainings, during your inductions, you bring up the topic and let the management know this is how management walkthrough is supposed to be. You keep talking the talking. It will enter one day, and keep also putting your documents down. Keep also ensure that you are documenting the process, you are documenting the communications, not just verbal communication. Ensure that you're having some written document communications so that in case if it's required, you can be able to show evidence that you had some proper communications in place. Okay, someone else ready to comment? Mr. Pascal, are you not free? We would like to hear from you. Sir David, seems you are not free today because you are always regularly available to share your wonderful experience. Okay, I would give some tips to Mr. Kenneth before we round off. The first thing you should have in mind is there should be an opening meeting. It's not like you are going to sit in office and start discussing or start putting chairs together to conduct the meeting. No, there will be a brief opening meeting at the entrance to the site where the walkthrough starts. The opening meeting will agree on the locations, because especially if the site is very big and the management will not be able to cover the entire site at the same time. So that opening meeting will agree on locations that we are moving and agree on certain areas that will be concentrating on. Some organizations would like to have concentrations, or they call it area of focus for a particular walkthrough. Just like I think Mr. Same told us how they do it. They pick a particular point in life-saving rules. They'll pick a particular point, maybe working at height, or maybe electrical safety, or maybe confined space. They just pick a particular point that this is what we are going to be looking at everywhere in the workplace today. Some organizations will choose a particular location that if we go to East, that whatever activity going on in that location, we are going to focus on those things. So it will be agreed on that introductory meeting or the opening meeting. Then after that, the opening meeting, everybody now goes in that direction. And while moving in that direction, people will be taking pictures, taking records, keeping documentations of what they've observed. And in the process, they could also be talking to the workers, speaking to the supervisors. They can also do immediate correction. So management walkthrough would also mean that they just gather all the information and go and prepare a closeout plan. No, there could be immediate closeout. They could instruct the supervisor or the engineer to stop this activity, do it this way, put this one in place, put this one in place. So they can be done immediately while the walkthrough is going on. Then after the walkthrough has been completed, there should also be a closing meeting. Closing meeting is like everybody is out from that access, and we can now sit down. We don't need to sit down. We can all look at the points that have been identified during the walkthrough and say which one we are going to tackle immediately. Then the ones that we need to prepare reports, they will say, go and prepare this report and send it to the management, putting your recommendations, the closeout, the agreed points in this close-in meeting. There will be some control measures agreed that will be implemented. So you put those things down in the report and send it out, then follow up and continue monitoring until they are all closed out. That is just the summary. And if there is any further comment, we can take it. If there is none, then we can call it a day. Okay, it seems there is no other comment. So thank you guys.
Actually, sorry guys, I actually want to thank everyone for their contributions. It's quite impressive, and I'm so much glad that I got a lot from you guys. So let me use this medium to appreciate everyone, and I hope we'll go on with this. Thank you once again. Thank you guys.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Mr. David is asking me to share the presentation slide. Please remind me in WhatsApp so that I will not forget. Thank you very much. All right, thank you guys for joining. Next week, Thursday, we'll meet again. Do have a blessed night.
All right, good night.
All right, good night.